Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing some of the differences between the standard N64 controller and the Retrobit Tribute 64. Obviously this one's three-pronged, so you can hold it like this or you can hold it like this depending on the game, whereas with this one you're always going to hold it like this because it does not have a Z button under it. It does have the controller pack port, which is very nice, and it does work. I've used it, in this one, controller pack and the Z button. So now let's check out some of the inputs. You can see with this stick you're going to get, the clacking noise, and you're going to get a lot of tension on your stick. You can grease it, of course, to make it a little bit less tensiony, but it's nice and hard, I guess you could say. Whereas this one, some people who like softer touches, you're going to get the GameCube kind of knocking noise. Right? And it's going to be very soft, and you can try to do precise stuff with it, just because it's less tensioned. It obviously is personal preference. Some people like harder sticks, some people like not hard sticks. But let's jump into the values here. So I'm going to be using the Ocarina of Time practice ROM to show the inputs, and you'll be able to see it down here on the bottom left, where left and right will be here and up and down will be here. So you'll notice if I hold up, I get 76. If I hold right, 76, down, 79, and left is about 80. Some looser sticks and some less loose sticks will get slightly different values, but everything is about an 80. And I wasn't hyperextending the stick or anything, so that's kind of what you would expect. The notches and the diagonals, I have a 64 and 5, a 65, 66, a 62, 69, and a 68, 68. And these can actually be very tempered with, depending on if you hyperextend it or not. Certain setups in games need very precise numbers. Some people need higher numbers than certain other numbers, so it kind of depends. Now let's look into the Tribute 64, because this one is very different. And I knew it was off, but I didn't know it was off by as much as I thought. What I did know is that all directions cap at 110 or 111. So my up is going to be 111, right 111, down 96, and left is 103. And this controller can still do the controller reset. However, this is how you know that it caps, because if I go right here and then I move it all the way up here, it's still the same. So the controller cannot get higher than 110 or 111. Just a fun fact, I guess. But it can do a reset, which is very nice. But the issue with this, where it really comes in, is the diagonals. So before I was getting like 65, 65, right? Something in those combinations. But this one has, if I go to the notch, I guess this controller, so this is like one of the first series of controllers. So I don't have a right notch, which means coincidentally my upright and downright notches are kind of screwed. You can fix this by kind of going under the controller and cutting off some of the joystick apparently, but I don't want to do that. But let's show the down left and down right. So my down left is 8168 and my up left is 8185. So already there you can see there is difference in the notches themselves. Some games stop reaching or stop inputting values into the game at a certain value, some don't. So really, once again, you got to look at your game and see how it's playing. If you're speedrunning, it might be very important. If you're playing casually, it might not matter at all, really. For example, in this game, it's somewhere in the 60s. I don't remember exactly where. So if I was doing 85, 84, that would kind of be exactly the same as doing 82, 68. Because if they both cap at 65, then I'm over in both diagonals. So both diagonals are equal, in obviously up and down differences, but technically they yield max values, perfect notches. So once again, just depends on the game. So yeah, that's the differences between the controllers. I'm not sure how you can tell if you can get a later version so you don't have this right issue, but it is fixable apparently. But it still does provide different notch values, potentially, than these, which seem to always have the same matching 65s or 70s, something along that line. Anything else? Let's see. Oh yeah, the buttons. Buttons are pretty much the same. It is a little bit harder to press these buttons, but like if you're mashing, you're mashing. It doesn't matter. The D-pad is definitely an issue with the retro bit. I'll show that right here. So you can see the D-pad inputs over here. So this is left and this is up over here. So the issue is if I hold left and I move the D-pad up, but not pressing the up button, I'm just kind of moving my finger up and down. I'm pressing left and up, pressing left, and now I'm pressing down and left. So up, up and left, and I guess I can't reach up right, but if I'm only pressing up, I really shouldn't be able to press left. One of the reasons I bought this controller was because I wanted to play some fighting games, and sometimes N64 D-pads aren't the greatest. They're a little bit mushy. So I figured, okay, a new D-pad, great, let's try it out. And it does work, but sometimes it multi-presses, and as you know, in any fighting game, you know, every input matters. A left versus a down left is very different. So that's one thing to look into. Obviously, most games it won't matter, but in some it does. The cord length is about twice as long, maybe. That's not a fact by any means, but it feels very long, in case you want to play on a couch or something. There's not really much difference other than that. The main thing, of course, is the joystick values and the Z buttons. So it is a working controller. Maybe not the best, but obviously this might be cheaper for somebody and it might provide the same level of success that they might otherwise have on this controller. So it's just something you kind of evaluate on your own level. Figure out, you know, how much do you want to push something. Because N64 controllers are obviously held in high regard for a reason. But this one could work for you depending on what you're trying to do. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or send me a message somewhere, and I'll, let you know some information about it.